Guys, today we will be going over the how-tos and counter matchups and regular matchups for Thanatos. It was heavily requested, so I figured I'd get this video out as fast as possible for you guys. Now, I didn't really go over builds last video. This video, because Thanatos isn't one of my top 5 gods and will probably never be one of the top 5 junglers in Smite unless something crazy happens. I'm going to go over the build. It's really quick. It has changed a little bit with this last patch from what you guys might have seen in my builds before. It's really simple though. Warrior Tabby Boots, obvious. Jotun's Wrath, obvious item. Mail of Renewal is the new item to this. The item gives you defense, health, and CDR. You'll cap out on CDR with it. You have the passive, which is OP. It's actually very, very strong. If you get an assist, a kill, or kill an objective like Gold Fury or Fire Giant, you get a 20% heal over 5 seconds, which is crazy for a sustained god like Thanatos. You already have a heal on your 1. You have a heal on last hits. The combo with Thanatos and really Mail of Renewal with just about every single god right now is going to be top tier, top build. This is what you're going to look to run. Next item, I like to go Frostbound Hammer. For later in the game, it secures your scythes. You won't miss any because they'll be slowed as long as you land an auto attack first. Gives you health, which is a little bit tankier. It still gives you that physical power you need. You gotta remember, around this time, you will definitely have max rank 1. Your 2 will be maxed out also. And this will be key. Like, you'll still have the penetration while going Frostbound Hammer, which is good. And then you'll follow that up with Titan's Bane. More power, more penetration. You're an ability-based god. Great. Now, late game, your scythe is going to stop hitting for half their health. It's going to start hitting for 20, maybe 30% of their health. On squishy, sure, it still might hit for like 40%, 50% if you're like way ahead of them. But I do like to go Rage. This is for an aggressive build where you'll get to auto attack a lot. So if you're in fights, you're just seeing yourself, you go in, you get auto attack, you're not really being focused. Rage will be a good pickup. You auto attack very hard. You have a big hit progression. So you'll look at crits hitting in the 500-600 range, even with a build like this, maybe even 700. Now, if Rage is not good for you, if you are being focused, they still want to kill you, you probably want to look at picking up some magical defense, either a Runic Shield. If for some reason they have no magical defense on their team, it will be good to pick up either a Rune Forage, an item I really don't like, but I do recommend in this situation. You give you health, gives you physical power, you have some other physical protection, so you will get some more power on top of that. Or, if they have a lot of auto attacks, say they have Kali, say they have, I don't know, 2 ADCs, just more than, say they have more than one auto attack god, or maybe even the Hunter, the ADC on the other team is the one controlling the fights, then you really can look at picking up Witchblade as a last item. So I recommend either Rage for all aggressive, or Witchblade, or Rune Forage for defensive. That'll round out your build. Now I'm going to jump back to the start. On Thanatos, you did see me starting with Hydra Star rank 2, almost every game, right here. I would almost always start with this. Now you have an option of starting with this, which will change up the whole build. If you go Hydra Star, you really don't want Mail of Renewal because then you'll overcap CDR, but it is an option. If you do that, I suggest you go back into this build and you swap out Mail of Renewal for some tankier item. Midgardian Mail is what I usually go. That's probably your best option. Now, instead of Hydra Star, with a start like this, if I'm going this build I just talked about, I'm probably going to go the new Bluestone Pendant. It has a new passive. You'll do extra damage every time you land a scythe. You generally will scythe and also silence at some point, so usually you'll get both stacks up very easily. So you'll see an extra 60 damage over 2 seconds on top of your insane burst. You still get 20 physical power. Yeah, the mana is irrelevant and you lose health, but you aren't gaining health from this anyway. And this just evens out to a more well-rounded build in my opinion. So I'm liking Bluestone right now. If you really don't trust yourself with having less health, you can still go Death's Toll. Whatever option you want, it's your choice. Now, people always ask me why Thanatos isn't top 5. Thanatos has very, very low mobility. Yeah, he has a semi-global ult, which is great. Yeah, he has a 2 that makes him immune to slows, but those are things that make him good against certain gods, not really things that give him mobility against all gods. In the jungle specifically, when you match him up with, say, against, I don't know, a Fenrir, or a Humbats, or something with stun and lockdown, the scythe won't be enough if that Humbats or that Fenrir has a teammate with him. So if that Fenrir stuns you and that other teammate hits you with, say it's Isis and hits you with a Spirit Ball, you're probably going to be too low to turn around and fight and try to turn the fight around in your favor. It's not going to happen. So that's why you see Thanatos really not excel, like not do well against a lot of these gods, because if he isn't the one aggressing, he's going to be in trouble. and he can really only aggress against either players who are playing poorly, whatever god they're playing, or Thor. He counters Thor very hard. The 3 on Thanatos is a silence. You can interrupt Thor's hammer throw if you time it right. Usually kind of lucky if you do that. But you can interrupt his spin every time. Most Thors are going to be leveling their spin just because they don't understand what matchups are. They don't really know that you need to swap up your how you build or level up abilities sometimes. So you can cancel out his 3. You can technically cancel out hammer throw if he's trying to escape. You have a semi-global ult that's very similar to his ult. So the Thanatos vs Thor matchup is all about playing smart, and then you can very much hard counter a Thor. Your 1 will do more damage than his hammer throw because you will heal off of it. So you always have to remember that. You also have more sustain. You can poke a Thor and then turn around and auto attack, get the last hits on a creep wave or last hits in the jungle, and you'll heal to full. The one downfall of Thanatos is that if you aren't playing aggressive and you're trying to play a farm game, you're going to lose. Thanatos doesn't necessarily fall off as hard as he used to, but he does not have that carry potential. His team fight presence is not as big, and it's just not the same as a Thor once you get to that max late game. The early game and mid game are very important on Thanatos. If you can get ahead in mid game, get ahead in early game, and just keep going, just snowball with that, then you'll be so far ahead once you get to late game that it won't matter that in a normal scenario you aren't that great. Because in that scenario you're still fantastic, you're still going to do a lot of damage. You just have to build according to the situation you're in. Now, Thanatos jungle versus jungle, like I said, doesn't really do too well against most of the other junglers. Serkets will lock him down and kill him. Humbats can lock him down and kill him usually. Humbats is one of those matchups where you technically can have an even matchup as long as you get early beats 3. If you don't get early beats 3, you're going to just be in a world of pain, honestly. You usually have a tough matchup against a Weak3n just because the mobility isn't the same. Kali can ult and just turn to fight on you. It's not a good situation for you to pick Thanatos into anything other than Thor, really. Now, if you think that you're just going to be team fighting and you don't have to worry about the other jungler, which might happen sometimes, or you're just trying to pub stop, sure, go for Thanatos in casual games or low rank games. Thanatos you can invade, you can get away with a lot of things. Now, I mentioned invading. If you pick Thanatos and you're against an unfavorable matchup, you're Thanatos against Serket, you're Thanatos against, say, a Weak3n, then go ahead and invade. If you can invade and you can take over the game with that invade, you will win the game usually, unless you just mess up sometime around level 5. You usually be able to push off with that invade and just win the game. Now, you also have counter matchups on the mages in the middle lane. Some mages that usually you don't want to go against are going to be the healing mages. Hell and Aphrodite can be very difficult to deal with. Isis sometimes can be very difficult to deal with, even though you can interrupt Wingust. Now, you do have a favorable matchup against Janus. Janus can't slow you, as long as you're not wasting your 2. You have a favorable matchup against Poseidon. As long as you have beads or Aegis, and you use your 2 properly, it's going to be really hard for him to get off a Kraken on you, and he has no escape, so you'll just be able to crush him. Same with Vulcan, no escape, you'll be able to crush him. Kukulkan, as long as you can sidestep and you also have immunity to slow, you can crush him. Hebo, you can destroy Hebo. You hit so hard that you'll be good to go. The one other matchup I want you to avoid if you're playing Thanatos is Nuwa. You run out of Nuwa and you try to get a scythe off, it'll be hard to get around creeps. Anyway, sorry about that. It'll be hard for you to land a scythe on a Nuwa while she is spawning her creeps. She'll be able to turn a fight and destroy you. Her burst is insane. It's just not something that's going to work out for you. Apwash can also be something that can go either way for you. I don't recommend the matchup just because the burst potential is so high. If you get caught out of position at all, it's really, really difficult. Your 2 does make you immune, like I said, which is great for a lot of things on Apuch, but at the same time, if he uses his creeps properly and he kites you properly, it's going to be really, really hard to kill an Apuch. The burst potential is not the same with Poseidon, like Apuch versus Poseidon. Apuch can kind of save his burst for when he needs it. Poseidon's going to freak out and try to ult you right away, and you have your beads, whatever, to escape it. You're not going to beads up to get out of an Apuch burst. It's not going to happen. So avoid those matchups. Look for the matchups I said. You really don't have favorable matchups in the Guardian role, the Warrior role, just because they're tanky and you're Thanatos. It can be difficult unless you get ahead. So look for Thor, look for invade potential, and look for the certain mages in the middle, and you'll be good to go. Hopefully, these little things help. Thanatos really isn't that in-depth. There aren't a ton of counter matchups for him, at least in my opinion. I really have not found success against most other junglers other than Thor or very good invades. So, pair up with an Osiris and invade every game. If that's what you want to do, you'll probably win most of your games, honestly, and you make people rage. Use a ward when you invade, you'll be good to go. Anyway, hopefully the video helps. Like the video, subscribe to me, please. Your support is amazing. It's insane how many views my videos have been getting lately. And I hope you guys will go back, watch the Circuit video if you need to learn any more, and you'll come and check out the future videos. I'll be putting out hopefully 2 of these videos a week. And I'll see you guys later.
Oh, this you crazy mother.